Mm. Ooh, it was the world. That's now. Hello, hi, welcome. This thing is much further down on my head if you can't tell today. If you couldn't tell, I just spilled the beans. Alright. So a year ago, I had a dream. And it's interesting because I was actually just thinking about this dream last night or the night before. I was thinking about this dream and I have a dream app and it popped up today that I had that dream a year ago. Um, no. I take that back. I take that back. I was thinking about that dream recently, and I was going through my notes today on my phone because I was deleting the notes that I don't need anymore. And then I came upon this thing from that dream. The dream I had a year ago was a different dream, and honestly, that's not the dream I was thinking of. So I got to clean that up. But anyway, there's this like thing. I'm gonna pull 10 cards. I don't know what this is gonna be. I barely ever know, right? There's no intention. I don't know how I'm going to read these. I kind of know how I want to pull these. I think I know what spread this is going to end up being once I finally build it. But excuse me. Um, yeah. Also, Uranus is conjuncting my ascendant exact today, or yesterday. It's at 0 degrees. The Three of Pentacles just came out. This card always looks like the Three of Wands to me because of the things in between the pentacles. But that's interesting because I was looking at the trines in my birth chart today. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Cups. Anyway, Uranus is conjuncting my ascendant exact, and it's a 0 degree separation. There's the World card, and you know, so I did something today. I've been wanting to do it for a minute, but it just happened today of all days when Uranus is conjuncting my ascendant, and the ascendant can be your appearance, right? So if you're a Taurus rising like me, people look at you and they may go, "Oh, you're built like a Taurus," and I'm like, "Oh, wow, you're right." What is this? The Knight of Swords in reverse. No, that's the Knight of Pentacles with the Eight of Cups now in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Anyway, I'm using the Mystic Mondays because my other decks, my usuals, and there's that Wheel of Fortune. I was just thinking about the Wheel of Fortune because it's a 10 card spread. Um, my other decks are out of the rotation right now. I have not done Scorpio and Libra yet. I'll be doing those after this. And then I will be doing whatever. Today ended up being a rest day because I did not sleep last night. So yeah, I'm gonna take this off. This is why it was so flat on my head. I've never had braids before. Ever. And I wanted a protective style so I can grow my hair, number one, and so that it doesn't keep knotting and knotting, number two, so it can actually grow, number three, or see, number one. And my mom just did it for me. I asked her a minute ago. Ooh, 4 of Wands in reverse with the Queen of Cups in reverse. No, the Queen of Pentacles also in reverse. But yeah, I'm gonna give this one more, and I'm gonna just get to it. These cards are so interesting, but they are interesting to shuffle as well. Maybe I'll get closer to the Mystic Mondays. I could have pulled the Witch's Tale, but I want to use a deck I don't necessarily use too much. What are some Oracle cards I don't use too much? I don't know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this a few of these, and then I'll just pull all the cards off the top besides the ones I pulled from the bottom. I just saw the Ten of Cups. All right, this will be the last one. Okay, let's go. So top. Hey, he's up right now. Bottom, bottom. Let's see if I can do this. Oh wow, there are two knights. Hey, I love that. Ooh, okay. Oh man. And then the third knight is in reverse. So all of the knights are here except for the Knight of Swords. Um so on the table, is that the star and the world card? Wow. Okay. Left at the bottom of the deck is Judgment. Interesting. All right. This is such an interesting feeling because I feel like someone's like pulling at my head. I look, ew, I don't know if I like the shape of my head anymore. Or maybe I just haven't seen myself with my hair this low in a long time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it is what it is, right? So there's 10 cards on the table. There's two on the outside, two sets of two on the outside, and then six on the bottom that form a sort of what shape is this? Hexagonal shape. It's a hexagon, hex for six, and gon for a multi-sided figure. So on the left flank is the Knight of Pentacles with the Three of Cups in reverse. On the right flank is the Star in reverse with the World card. On the bottom of the hexagram, on the bottom of the hexagon is the Three of Pentacles in reverse and the Six of Swords upright. On the middle tier is the Knight of Cups on the left and the Four of Wands on the right. And then on the top is the Ace of Pentacles with the Knight of Wands in reverse. So there are three knights on the table, which is interesting. And then Judgment at the bottom of the deck. Again, I don't know how I'm going to read these, but I'm going to actually grab the Energy Oracle cards that I wanted to grab last night. And then I'm going to put these on top. Hey, yeah, Judgment's on the bottom. That'll give me 20 cards. It fits. If it fits, it ships. If it fits, it ships. Yeah. Hey, and there they go right there. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what this would be. And at first I was going to stop or I was going to take a break, but I was like, I'm not going to put an expectation on what comes out or whatever. I'm just going to go for it and continue to live my life. That way, if it is anything I'm supposed to say, I can just check that box. That's it, right? Oh, I look so weird. Maybe it's because my beard is still a mess. Or not a mess, but actually, I kind of like it. I kind of like it now. Never mind. I take it back. I might pull out my other glasses, though. Slim them down a little bit. Okay. I think there are reversals in here, so I will make sure to flip half the deck. That's one of the things that I don't, I guess, necessarily appreciate about people who use reversal sometimes. It's like, oh, this card came out in reverse. Okay, let's put all the cards back and shuffle again. And it's like, oh, this card came out in reverse again. It's like, okay, well, are you like flipping half the deck so you get reversals, or are the same cards always going to be in reverse? Which is fine because the message always comes as it's supposed to. But for me personally, I like to flip it just to make sure if I'm using reversals, I actually, switch it up or change it up or do whatever. But this ain't about other people. Okay, now they don't want to shuffle. I'm sorry. I apologize. Can you shuffle, please? Thank you. And then I'll give it one more. I'll flip this half. Oh, I'll flip the other half this time. I always flip the right half. This time I flip the left half. Hey, and it shuffled. All right. So I'll pull these the same way. Ooh, is that the door to value? Is that the world? That's interesting. All of these are coming out in reverse. No. Hey, that's upright. That's upright. Yin and yang. Let's see. We'll pull this one here. That's in reverse. We'll pull this one here. And then we'll pull these two off the top. Left at the bottom of the deck is Indecision, number 8. Number 8 is the card that switches from deck to deck. Not from deck to deck, but it's like 8 is either strength or justice, and then 11 is either justice or strength, and like 9 is always the hermit, and then 10 is the wheel of fortune, right? I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe so. Indecision left at the bottom of the deck. It's funny, we have indecision over here, and then we have judgment on the other side. So it's like not failure to act, but it's like you've already judged the situation, like you already know what you should be doing, but you're still wrestling with the decision. I mean, I guess it's understandable. We're human, right? Sometimes the thing that you should do isn't the thing that you want to do, or sometimes the thing that you should do is it requires something of you that you may think is more than what you have to give or offer. So let's start on the outsides. Um, so, and again, I guess I'll just kind of sort of go with it. This is kind of sort of feeling, no, I don't want to do that. So this is going to be feminine side, masculine side, and then this sort of space in between them. Or is this masculine with the feminine here? Give me a second. It's kind of like a heart. Oh, it looks kind of like a heart. I'm not doing it though. Well, the dream, in the dream, I was basically looking for somebody, right? And this was a portal of sorts. It was almost like a runic sort of symbol that opened a gate, opened a portal. And so I was going to be like, oh, it's about a portal. But now I got all these cards down here. Okay, we're going to build it. Build it with me live. This is a workshop. Let me stop. I'm going to be. I'm sorry. Forget I almost said anything. Okay, let me type. Oh. Okay, so these two are cohesive. Cohesive. These two grounded. No. These two flank everything. These are the drivers. And these are they speak to the cycle. So I guess I'll do this how I usually do it, right? So this isn't necessarily about a relationship. That was so interesting. I just started hearing a noise, and I'm like, "What is that noise?" I mean, I don't know why this was making a noise, but okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. So this isn't necessarily about a relationship. This could be a person with the self, or two aspects of the self, or something like that. There is an element of unity here. And if I split this, mm, okay, let's just go with it. We'll do cohesion last. No, we'll do it first. I don't know what this is. We'll see what happens, shall we? So we have this Knight of Pentacles with the door to value in reverse. And the Knight of Pentacles is looking at this door to value. And then on the other side, remember how I said we have the Star in reverse and then the World upright? Well, the World card came out with this Star in reverse. So they're both in reverse. Both in reverse. And so, oh, what is it? It's like you can't give what you won't receive, is what came to my mind. And it's on this side, it's almost the space. This may be self. It's almost the space of dreaming of a world. It's like whatever on this side, whatever you've been dreaming and hoping and wishing for, it's not that it's too big, but it's like it's more than you would ever actually receive. Or maybe you weren't dreaming big enough. Maybe you weren't dreaming big enough. Because what popped into my mind is like dreaming of a world too small. What did I say? I put somewhere like dreams too big for a world too small, or something like that. But it's almost like dreams too small for a world too big. This is the energy of someone limiting their growth, someone who needs to dream bigger on this side. And then on the other side, we see this Knight of Pentacles with this door to value in reverse. And the Suit of Pentacles is all about worth and value, right? And it's like you can't give what you won't receive on this side. And then it's dreaming too small for a world too big on this side. So this speaks to someone not realizing their full potential because they don't think they're worth it. And because you don't think you're worth it, you're not going for things that would prove that to you. And this is a cohesive point. This is where these two things kind of sort of come together. So I guess it makes sense now, right? Because they are connected. What you think you're worth will determine. See, and the thing about, because I've been seeing the star card quite a bit lately. And usually, I guess back in the day or outside of times like these, I would think that the star card is like a good thing. But now I'm almost, and it's not that I'm feeling it as a bad thing, but it's like we're making wishes, but what are we doing to make those wishes come true? What are we going to do to fulfill them? What are we going to do to make them a reality? Or like Shia LaBeouf said, right? Don't let your dreams just be dreams. I believe I never actually saw that, but I heard it enough. Don't let your dreams just be dreams. And I feel like with the energy of the star lately, it's like dreams just being dreams and us not wanting to do anything to get them. But it's almost like this energy of being overwhelmed with, because, like, so this is what the grounding, this is what grounds it, but these are pulled from the top and the bottom of the deck. So it's like it encompasses something completely and fully within itself, right? And so we have the woman holding a coin. Yeah, the woman holding a coin in reverse on top of this world upright, where we had the star in reverse and the world in reverse. And so it's like on this side, dreaming too small for a world too big in the space of not actualizing your potential, and dreaming too big for a world too small in the space of like you want to expand. It's like you want expansion, but you don't want the discomfort of growing pains. It's like you want something completely new, but you don't want to go anywhere. And it's possible. But if you're called to go somewhere new, then that's what you need to do. And I feel like with this star card, a lot of with the star energy that I'm feeling lately is like it's like a lack of a willingness to do what it takes to make those dreams a reality. And this is what sort of grounds this to the situation. I don't know what the situation is yet, so maybe I should have read the situation first. This could be like the mind and the heart in some way. I just feel like this is like all within one person. It could be two people playing this aspect, um, but it feels mostly within one person. Excuse me. Take it as it resonates. If it's a two people thing, then let it be a two people thing. If it's a one person thing, then let it be a one person thing. And then on this side, we have that Nine of Pentacles upright with the Three of Cups in reverse. And I guess this door to value came out in reverse to kind of sort of tell us why this Three of Cups is in reverse. And then is this second chakra archangel? Yep, second chakra archangel Ariel in reverse. I feel like with this Knight of Pentacles, this speaks to the energy of someone who wants to build something long term, but there's something within them that keeps them from allowing that to be fulfilled. Oh, the Nine of Pentacles in reverse just flew on top of this Four of Wands with the Temple Path in reverse. So it's like he wants it. He wants it. But with this Three of Cups, he was never going to get it because the door to value was in reverse. And so, because the door to value was in reverse, like this knight needs to be sure of himself because he is the slowest knight, right? I feel like this knight knows that he's the slowest knight in the deck. This knight knows that people don't too much like to see him or don't like when he comes out because, again, he's the slowest, and a lot of people are like, no, no, no. And so, if he doesn't know what he's worth, if he doesn't know his value, then it's going to lead him to a space of not appreciating himself, because there are things that you can appreciate about this Knight of Pentacles. Like, he's very practical. When he does show up, everything is going to be taken care of. He's not the knight that needs to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, making sure that they have everything, right? It's like, when I show up, know that I'm ready. And what I come to offer is something that you will get from no other, right? Sometimes the best things in life are the things that are actually worth waiting for. But with this door to value sort of here in reverse, I feel like there were things that this knight didn't know about himself or doesn't know about himself. And until this knight, as the Knight of Pentacles, until this knight knows their value, it's like they're never going to come in. And that's why this Three of Cups is kind of sort of here at the bottom. Even though he wants that Four of Wands celebration, it's like water is falling out of all three of these cups because they're all upside down. And then we have the second chakra archangel Ariel. Now, this could speak to issues surrounding intimacy, right? If this is issues surrounding intimacy, then maybe it's for this night to sort of like realize that there are things about them that people can get close to. I feel like the fear of intimacy could be just like not letting people close in whatever way, for whatever reason, that this night sort of deems themselves unworthy of close connections. It doesn't necessarily have to be like physically intimate. But it's like if you have that fear of intimacy, this Three of Cups is always going to be in reverse because you're never going to let anybody close enough for there to be an actual celebration. And so then on the other side, it's like, you know, celebration may be something that you're asking for, but what are you going to do to make sure you get it? And so grounding this, it's like where they come together is this sort of space of like someone not realizing their worth, and because they don't realize their worth, they're not asking for all that they could be asking for. Yes. And so they're not getting nearly what they could be getting. And so there's this undertow of dissatisfaction that's kind of sort of just there. Now, grounding this to whatever the situation is, on one side, we have the world upright with the woman holding a coin in reverse. And I feel like that's more of that energy of like knowing that you're worth more, knowing that you can do better, but never receiving better because you're not striving to get better. And then on the other side is that fear of intimacy, is that fear of closeness. Maybe it's the fear of opening up to people. And so with the woman holding a coin in reverse, it's almost a very like miserly energy, someone who's hoarding this. And it's like the only thing kind of sort of throwing me off is that world card upright. But if that speaks to completion, then I feel like someone's realized that they've kind of sort of gone as far as they can go on their own. Someone has been alone for long enough. Okay, yeah. It's like someone's been alone long enough and they want that closeness with someone. But with the Three of Cups over here, like if you're not going to open up to somebody, you're never going to get it because it kind of sort of requires that intimacy. Now, flanking the situation and what connects those to whatever this is down here on the side with the woman holding the coin in reverse is this Four of Wands and the Temple Path in reverse. Now, this Four of Wands and Temple Path in reverse could speak to the element of a change in direction, or it's I'm sorry. Leo was alive in me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I love it though because I've been working on my Chiron. I need that fire trine active, right? I just discovered. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. With this Four of Wands upright and this Simple Path in reverse, I feel like this speaks to the fact that, like, this is going to require some things that are going to take you some areas and some dark spots on this. And the hesitation here is what's going to delay this. I feel like flanking, like connecting this to that, it's like, again, like this is something that you want. Like the woman holding a coin, she's ready to share that with someone. Maybe she's ready for marriage, right? Because the Four of Wands can be the marriage card. She's ready to share her wealth of abundance, but she's still coming out of that cycle of opening up to people. And I feel like the Temple Path is leading her to maybe blindly trusting. Maybe it's like you know all that you need to know of the situation, and it's impossible for you to know anymore without diving fully into it. And with the World card upright, it's like you're ready and you've been ready, but it's time for you to act like you're ready. And then on this side, what's connecting this? We have the Knight of Cups and Community in reverse. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of sort of, I was sort of getting the feeling that maybe there was like a relationship over here or something that didn't work out in the past with that Four of Wands and the Temple Path in reverse. It's almost a fear of repeating something, but not operating in the fact that the experiences that you had were necessary. The experiences that you had needed to be had. And that's why you had those experiences. And as long as you can trust in your, as long as you can trust in the fact that A, you'll be guided in the direction that you need to go always, and that B, you've done the proper healing that you've needed to do, then there's nothing for you to worry about. And I think that's sort of the hesitation with the temple path in reverse. It almost feels like you know the path, but you're just not taking it. And then again, it may be related to those issues of intimacy. Maybe you're the type of person who's let people in the past and they've always kind of sort of taken advantage of you. But now here you have this Knight of Cups with this community in reverse. I feel like this Knight of Cups is you. I feel like deep down, because the Knight of Cups is very intuitive, I feel like deep down you know that this, deep down you know that whatever it is you're going for is unlike anything that you've ever had before. And I say that because this community is in reverse. I feel like it stands out. And then maybe that adds another layer onto whatever sort of stress or whatever you're feeling. Because again, this is the outside flank connected to those issues of intimacy. Could also be creativity, right? But creativity or a creative endeavor is still an intimate process. Um, but yeah, it's almost like, maybe recognizing that whatever this is so far outside of the bubble of what you usually get, you don't necessarily know how to interact with it. And with the star card in reverse and with the world in reverse, it could also be the case that you wished for something, something is in front of you, but with the world card in reverse, it's like you don't want it to end prematurely or you don't want it to end at all. And you're afraid, again, tying down to this, the issues of intimacy with the Three of Cups in reverse. I love that the Three of Cups came out in reverse and then Community came out in reverse attached to it. Um, but with that world card, it's like, and again, the Knight of Pentacles with the Door to Value in reverse, like you don't feel worthy of it. But the Knight of Pentacles is upright. So that means you are. This World card over here, connected to the woman holding a coin in reverse, is upright, which means you are. You just don't feel that you are. And because you don't feel that you are, you'll never allow yourself to be. Um, I feel like you're more than qualified for whatever this is. But it's just a moment of getting, it's waiting for you to recognize that you are. But again, with this community in reverse with the Knight of Cups upright, I just feel like maybe you don't necessarily see how you'll fit into this space because you've never been in a space like this. There's almost a fear of like doing the wrong thing, messing it up. Again, with the Star in reverse, World card in reverse, it's like you've gotten the wish, but you're afraid that you're going to mess it up. And so instead of messing it up, it's like you never even touch it. And it's like, you can leave something in a box for so long that it collects dust, it starts to deteriorate, and it gets rusty. And it's like you let it rust before you ever even use it. And then by the time you get on it, it's like cutting you or doing whatever because it's like rusty or something, right? Also, with community in reverse, it may be the fact that like you can't too much necessarily get answers. Oh, I love that. It may be the case that you're not necessarily getting answers from the people in your community, your friends, your family. Maybe the way that you typically get guidance, you're not getting guidance. So I don't know if that could be a reading or whatever. How many times do I tell people not to watch me, right? But I'm gonna keep uploading as long as I feel like I should be. Um, but it's like you're not gonna get the answers in your community. You may not get any assistance from your community. I think again, this night is intuitive. You're probably supposed to move with your heart right now. I feel like intuitively you know the direction that you're supposed to go in. And you know that whatever this is, I feel like it disrupts the community in some way. And maybe you're a very sort of community centric person. And so you don't want there to be this disruption. And so you'd rather live your life being miserable as long as the community is satisfied. And hey, maybe it's time for you to act on something to make you happy. Maybe it's time to act on your own happiness. Potentially. May call me crazy. But life is short and you should want to be happy. Girl, what, you pregnant? Let me stop. I'm sorry. Sorry. So, um, the drivers for the situation. We'll start here and then we'll talk about the cycle last. So, I believe these are the drivers. Hold on, wait, how did I do this? One, two. No, that's one and two, three and four. This is five and six. That's seven and eight. So, this is the drivers. Yeah, because that's what pushes it forward. Okay. So, one second. Oh, snap! Okay, all right, that's cool. That's cool. Good luck, girl. Good luck. So these are the drivers. What's driving this? We have the Three of Pentacles in reverse and envy. This gosh darn envy card. So on the side where your community isn't necessarily helpful, we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like this is saying that you can't necessarily build with the people that you're working with. The Three of Cups is in reverse on this side. The Three of Pentacles is in reverse on this side. Community is in reverse on this side. And the Door to Value is in reverse on this side. I feel like with this envy, it's almost like there are people who would keep you kind of sort of small because they know your potential. But for some reason, they would see you not attain or achieve it. Also, maybe they can see that with that Knight of Cups, either you've become someone who is not no longer as easy to manipulate and to keep small, or they see that there's something offering you something outside of this community and they don't want you to leave. Now with this envy card, it could be someone who's like just straight up like envious of you and would have you not seek that. And so whenever you come into communion with this person, they will actively, in some ways that may seem supportive, but in ways that they know they're not actually giving you good and solid advice, they may try to discourage you from exiting whatever situation you're in. Like we have a world card in reverse and we have a world card upright. So it's like with the tarot on the base, like the cycle is complete, but with the energy oracle on the top, it's like it's not, right? And it's like this cycle is complete whenever you want it to be complete. You can move on whenever you want to move on. You can begin to manifest and realize your dreams as soon as you want to, but I mean, also at the same time, you have to see yourself as worthy of it. But yeah, with this envy card, I just feel like there are people who, and like the envy card is much more subtle than the hostilities card, right? In the space of envy, that's when people who are like kind of sort of like the smile on your face, but in reality, they're hiding something. And what they're hiding is they don't actually want you to leave or do well because if you do too well, you'll leave. And with the hostilities card, that's when you're like almost out the door and they just like grab you, right? I'm like, no, you're not leaving. But right now, it's really subtle. And I feel like with that Knight of Cups and with this Knight of Pentacles upright, with the Three of Cups, no, with the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, those are both, those are like feminine knights, right? And so I feel like the feminine energy is a lot more intuitive and it's really receptive. And so I feel like you can kind of sort of begin to see that you're being led elsewhere or you're being led to incorporate something that isn't there. And maybe with the incorporation of this thing, some people feel threatened. But you know, who's to say that once you incorporate whatever it is that you incorporate, that it won't fit into the community that you already have there. I feel like there's a lot of fear of things not fitting in, but with the Three of Pentacles, I feel like the Three of Pentacles upright is all about sort of building. Well, it's about creating and establishing a foundation, but it's also about building upon that, right? And so, if that is the part of the foundation that you wish to keep, I feel like anything, if that's part of the foundation that you wish to keep, and if you're in the space that you're supposed to be in, or if you're in a space that you can be in, it's possible that you can find a way to get everything to work harmoniously. But to get everything to work harmoniously, you are going to need to know who you are. Because if you continue to allow other people to tell you who you are and what you're capable of, or if you continue to make sacrifices in order to satiate the people who are in your life or the community in general. Sometimes community isn't necessarily people, sometimes community is our living situations. Sometimes community can be more of the shadow side of our brains, right? The part that wants to keep us kind of sort of centralized. And then with the Six of Swords over here, upright, I mean, Six of Swords upright, yin and yang upright. And both of these are the driving forces, right? This is the driving force from the side of the woman holding a coin in reverse, the world in reverse, and this temple path in reverse. It's time for you to get back on the path and to start moving with the yin and yang. I feel like there's a certain element of balance that this will bring you. But on the other side of things, it's like, you're afraid of what may be disrupted. And it's almost saying like it's time to sail away. And a lot of times this distance, it can be physical. But this is the card of this is the suit of swords, and swords is the suit of the mind. So it's mentally time for you to put certain patterns of thought that don't support you to bed. And physically, with the pentacles, this is like they're like, what was I about to say? It's like your environment is not conducive to whatever it is that is here. But that doesn't mean that you can't make it that way. And as far as what I was saying about sort of like you being in your own power with that Knight of Pentacles in the door to value, if you can turn that upright, then it's like, once you know what you bring to the table, then you can begin to negotiate. And when you're negotiating, you can create balance and you can create peace in a way that is stable. Right. Let's say for whatever reason, I don't know, you're dating somebody that your family doesn't like, because that would be one situation where you have sort of community, which would be your family. You have this thing on the outside that you're wishing for, which would be the other person. And let's say that for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, but let's say that you don't want to upset your family, right? Now, if you come into this space where you know who you are, I feel like there's a way for you to stand up for yourself and for this person, because there is an element of harmony that needs to be created here. But it's all about sort of creating a space for that individual within that space, right? And that could, I mean, I don't know how many people are working right now, but that could also be kind of sort of a job. Let's say that you're used to working a certain job, right? And you know that you've sort of grown beyond whatever that role is, and now you're looking for a challenge, and you know what you have to bring to the table. Now, let's say you go interview somewhere and you're negotiating your salary or whatever, right? And let's say the other person isn't necessarily trying to get you for a steal. Let's say they do want to be fair. And so they give you a number that's lower than what you were kind of sort of thinking. Now, like if you approach this as a negotiation, if you know your worth, you'll be able to sort of convince them or elucidate. Is that the word I want? I'll go with it. Illuminate, elucidate. You'll be able to tell them why they want you, right? And then they're like, "Oh wow, I didn't know. Like, why didn't you put that on your resume?" And he's like, "Because my resume, it would be a whole like scroll across the floor if I put everything on it. But there are things that you have to offer, that you should be compensated for. But while you're sitting down at the negotiating table, if you're not going to hold yourself to that space, you're not going to get all that you're worth, right? And like that's kind of sort of the issue here is like you're not getting what you're worth in whatever situation. Maybe because you don't think you're worth it. Maybe because of the issues around intimacy you have. Maybe because you've been hurt in the past. Maybe because you're just not dreaming big enough. But it's time for you to get out of that mentality and it's time for you to get into something where you will speak your worth because it's like if you let them know, I feel like they'll compensate you for it. But it's going to require you saying something. And then you have the yin and yang on top of that. Now the yin and yang is again what I was talking about, bringing things into balance. But in this deck, when the yin yang card is upright, it's about the yin cycle, and the yin cycle is about receiving. It's the receptive mode, right? I feel like the yin is the water, is the giving into the cycle and giving into the flow of things instead of fighting it. Because I guess there's a like it's like the universe, God, spirit, your angels are naturally pulling you. The temple path in reverse with this four of wands. They're naturally pulling you to this four of wands type of space. But with this temple path in reverse, it's like you're resisting it. You're not going along with it for whatever reason. And both of these cards, even though one is the suit of um, all of these, really. So here on the right side of this, you see sort of these greens and blues. You see, like up here, the greens and blues, and then you get some like purples and stuff in here. And then you got the greens and blues and the Six of Swords, and then there's also greens and blues in the space of that Knight of Cups. And then with the purples in here, we have the purples. Yeah, pretty much. We have the colors from this Three of Pentacles in reverse, more or less. Oop, 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 oop. More or less. Let's see. How do I do this? There we go. More or less, right? So with this Four of Wands, it's all about incorporating everything. And these are the bottom four cards. Let me try to put these back where they belong. Do 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 do. You could be my Juliet, just say yes. I've never had Taylor Swift pop into my head before, but there she is. I take that back. For there's that one song I never really listened to her because I don't too much listen to a lot of music. Um, but the part where she was talking about, I think it's a song called like Our Song or whatever. And for some reason, that part where she's like, and we talk real slow because it's late and your mama don't know. Ooh, well, community in reverse. You ain't even telling your mama. Maybe out of fear of what she say. Maybe you, because this is what carries the cycle forward, right? The last two cards speak to cycles. And so maybe you're afraid that other people in your community may say that you're repeating certain cycles, or you may be afraid that you're repeating certain cycles. There was kind of sort of a feeling of like with the Four of Wands and the Temple Path in reverse that like a fear of repeating something that looked good in the past. Maybe you were in a space of being ready to commit to something, or maybe you did commit to something and it didn't necessarily work out in the past. But with this door to value upright, if the door to value is upright, you can never go wrong because either A, you'll never attract a situation that is lower than your value, or B, when you're in your value, when you know what you're worth, okay, it's going to require a little bit of the like Queen of Swords energy. But when you know what you're worth, you don't settle for less. And then it doesn't have to be this whole long drawn out like how do I leave situation. Not to say that you will need to leave, but if you for whatever reason do need to leave, if that door to value is upright, you'll be able to get out. And maybe that's what they've been working with you on. I mean, it's all over here what they've been working with you on, and I mean it's all of what they've been working with you on, but it's like You need to resolve any issues you have with intimacy, with getting close to people, or with dedicating and devoting yourself to something, or to seeing something, whatever creative endeavors. And you need to fix sort of how you view yourself, because the Knight of Pentacles is upright, but the Door to Value is in reverse. So I feel like there is something that you offer in this situation, but you don't know what it is. And I guess one of the unfortunate things in that is that, like, you have the Three of Cups in reverse, Community in reverse, and Envy upright, with the Three of Pentacles also in reverse. So it seems like anything you try to get from your usual sources won't really speak to your value either. And maybe it's because these people have known you for too long, or maybe it's because they have a certain fixed image of you, and if they have a fixed image of you, they may not necessarily be able to see or account for all the work that you've actually done, because the World card came out upright, which means that you've done a lot. I mean, you've done enough for a World card closing up chapters. And then you got the Four of Wands, which is also about endings and new beginnings, right? You got the World card and the Minor World. What's driving these cycles forward on the side of the Community in reverse is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse and strategy. Ace of Pentacles upright and strategy in reverse. Again, it's like you feel all of this sort of newness coming in, you just don't know how to get there. And sometimes you just got to leap. I'm going to look and see what's around the Fool in a second. No, I'll look and see what's around the Fool now. I'm going to do it now. Why wait? Because I'll forget. Where that Fool card at? Where that Fool card at? That's the Empress. Ooh. Where that Fool card? I'm hungry. Is that the Fool? Yep, the Fool is in reverse. Why is she in reverse though? Who ain't leaping? Take that leap. I'm gonna look for the action card too, because I'm putting everything on top of everything anyway. I'm looking for that action card, and then I'm gonna put the cards around it. So with this Fool is the Queen of Cups in reverse, with the Four of Swords upright, flanking this Fool, and this is a Fool. The Fool is in reverse. It's just hesitation. I mean, I already picked up on the hesitation with the Temple Path in reverse, but still. I would have stayed home because I was doing better at home. Happy Family is upright though. Sometimes it just takes for you to stand up for other people to see. And sometimes folks are waiting. It's like it almost gives me I feel like it happens in movies, but I can't think of a specific one. Where it's like, the person finally grows a backbone and they stand up for themselves and like, wow, we were wondering if you'd ever do that. And I'm beginning to wonder as well. Is this the action card? Nope, that's Journey. There is an action card in this deck. Sometimes I see the Journey card and I'm like, is that action? Because I was doing better at them. Here is action. I was like, okay, action's at the top of the deck. I was like, am I ever gonna find this card? So sitting on top of the Queen of Cups in reverse is Cornucopia in reverse. It would appear that your abundance is tied to, I mean, that's self-explanatory. If your heart's not open, you're not really going to be able to attract this abundance. It kind of sort of works together that way, unfortunately for some. So as long as this Queen of Cups is in reverse, as long as you're not listening and open, as long as you're not open to the direction and guidance of Spirit, and as long as you're not listening to and abiding by it, and as long as your heart is closed, this cornucopia will continue to be in reverse. The cornucopia upright is the fulfillment of all, and it's emphasized in the guidebook, all of your wishes. Action is sitting on top of the Fool. Action is upright, but the Fool is in reverse. So maybe you were having some foolish actions in the past because you weren't fully connected. See, there's a difference between being connected to the higher parts of you and acting out of that, and being connected to the parts of you that desire something and being and acting upon that. Like if you think back, and again, we always have the experiences that we're meant to have. But if you think back maybe on situations that didn't work out in the past, it's like, well, like what space were you acting out of? Were you as healed as you are now? Were you as connected as you are now? Did you know as much about yourself as you do now? Or was that like different time, different place, different space? Right. And sitting on top of this Four of Swords upright is third chakra archangel Shamuel. Shamuel, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Upright. The third, that's the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra is all about our actions, but the solar plexus chakra is also responsible for sustenance. And so if you are feeding yourself the right things, then it's like you can take action without it being, maybe with this community card in reverse, there's a fear of like making waves in a space that you don't want there to be any waves, right? Because you don't want a kiddie pool to be acting like a wave pool because, maybe the kiddies can't swim in the waves, but you're not going to drown in a kiddie pool. So, I mean, it's possible if you lie face down in it and you never turn over, but like that's not going to happen, right? And so on this side of the driving force again, what was it? The Ace of Pentacles and oh, what was this? I just read it. Strategy. The Ace of Pentacles upright and strategy in reverse. Could be tied to this cornucopia with this Queen of Cups in reverse. Because to get that Ace of Pentacles cornucopia, you're gonna have the Queen of Cups upright that mess. And maybe you're not thinking about like you can't come up with how to Queen of Cups upright, whatever this is. But sometimes the best strategy is no strategy. I mean, I rarely have a strategy when I come live, right? But it works out. And when you don't have a strategy, it's easier for you to be guided in the direction that you're supposed to go. It's easier for you to, and like you don't have to worry about not having the right words or knowing how to do whatever. Like, let's say, the person sits you down and they're like, okay, well, tell me what you're about. Tell me like some of your strengths. And you're like, I don't know what my strengths are. Well, maybe instead of telling them a specific strength, you can sort of tell them of a time when you made a split decision that worked well. Because let's say that's one of your strengths, but you wouldn't know how to communicate that. Let's say, I've been in situations in the past where something came up and I had to make a decision on the fly. And it just so happened that every time I entered a situation like that, I was able to resolve it with minimal conflicts, bull black, whatever. And sometimes it actually worked out for the better. And then they would be able to interpret that as like, okay, you're someone who's good under pressure, A, and someone who's good at making split decisions, B. Also someone who's probably very observant and resourceful, C, to be able to do that in those spaces. And like, that's what we're looking for, right? And so you don't necessarily need to have the words. Sometimes you just have to be present, available, in the moment, and open. And then everything that needs to happen will happen. And then on this side, we have the only knight in reverse. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse with the Angel of Strength also in reverse. Knight of Wands in reverse with the Angel of Strength in reverse. And I guess if I'm going off of this, I feel like that means it's kind of sort of saying that you don't have to come in super hot and come in like super strong and do whatever, right? Like this may be the space where you don't necessarily need a strategy because it's almost like if this is calling you to a new cycle, it's almost like if you're strategizing from a space of what may have worked in the past and you're trying to come into a brand new cycle. And so sometimes you just have to like dip a toe into the pool and then jump in, right? Sometimes you can dip your toe first, sometimes you jump in, sometimes you acclimate to the water and then you get in. But regardless, you have to put something in the water to feel the temperature. You have to put something in the water because this body of water may not be the same temperature as the last body of water. And that's the part with the strategy in reverse. It's like you don't need to know how to do this. You just need to show up and begin doing something. You need to start doing something because it's almost like a lot of this will resolve itself as you move forward. As long as you keep centered, grounded, and at peace. And you can be centered, grounded, and at peace and be nervous and anxious, right? Being centered and being grounded and being at peace. Okay, being at peace may not necessarily be anxious, but being centered and being grounded have nothing to do with how anxious you feel in a situation. Being centered and grounded is you trusting, knowing that even if you don't know what the next word out of your mouth will be, you'll say the right thing and you'll do the right thing. And it speaks more to the trust that you have than to your faith and your ability to do whatever in that moment. But yeah, that's what I got. So this is a portal. This is a gateway. This is about translocating from one space to another. This was also coming from the space of searching for something. And honestly, it's like a lot of, like I said before, a lot of the resources that you have, a lot of things that you typically kind of sort of go to, if it's outside of you, it may not necessarily be helpful or beneficial. If you're looking for confirmation, it may not necessarily be helpful or beneficial because this is a brand new space and you can't tackle a brand new space as if it were an old space. And energetically, if you tackle a brand new space as if it were an old space, you're going to be bringing a whole bunch of old space stuff into this, and it doesn't need to be there. I know it looks like there's a fear of intimacy here. It looks like there's a fear of repeating mistakes from the past here. It looks like what you are coming into, you think maybe more than you hear. It looks like there are people in your environment who you may usually kind of sort of go to for support who aren't necessarily going to be that helpful here. But there's also movement here. There's balance here. There's tranquility here. A major cycle has been closed. And maybe with the one world upright, it's like one cycle has been closed. And with the world in reverse, with this world in reverse, with the star in reverse, like the star in reverse could speak to the energy of like you've already manifested this opportunity, you wished for it, and now it's here. With this world in reverse, this is about waiting for you to enter that world. And with this world upright over here, with the women holding the coin in reverse, this is like you've already completed this cycle of loneliness, separation, isolation, building yourself up on your own. Now it's time to incorporate somebody else. Like this cycle is over. This cycle is waiting to begin. And then we have this sort of moving these cycles forward. Now, if I want to kind of sort of dissect this a little bit, it's like on one hand, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that. Sometimes you just got to jump in or dip a toe in, however you acclimate to a situation. Maybe it's not for you to go all in, right? Because the Knight of Wands is here in reverse with this archangel or with this angel of strength in reverse, right? The Knight of Wands is in reverse, the angel of strength is in reverse. So maybe you're not jumping all the way in, but I think you can put a toe in, you can acclimate, put your foot in, acclimate a little bit more, and then when you're comfortable, jump in. You don't have to go all in at the beginning. You don't have to go all in at the jump. You can but I feel like you need to, like the Knight of Pentacles did come out. You need to be making some kind of progress. I believe now is the time to begin moving because again, this is a portal. A portal. This is a gateway that's open to you, but it's not going to be open forever. And if you're talking about divine timing, it's like, all things happen in the time that they're supposed to happen. Yes, correct. But in the same manner, if you don't act on something in the season that you're supposed to act on it, then you're going to have to wait until the next season. And it's not to say that another season won't come, but it looks like you could take advantage of the season that's already here now. This is like a really, it's like a really, really, really beautiful energy, but there's enough hesitation here that you may not take it. Because the cards upright, Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups are both upright. The Six of Swords is upright. The Four of Wands is upright. The World and the Ace of Pentacles are all upright. In reverse are the Star, the Knight of Wands, the Three of Cups, and the Three of Pentacles. You know how in astrology we have like transiting planets, right? There are fixed stars in the sky, but you know the planets move, and some of the other things in the sky move as well because they all orbit and rotate, right? So it's like, don't be a fixed star. Be one of those stars that sort of move in the sky, and you don't need to know where you're going because gravity naturally takes you in the direction that you're meant to go in. And if you have trust, you'll be all right. And I see, this is how I lost the man holding a heart the last time, I think, because I left him on my laptop and then I closed it. I just had those three cards up there. I'm going to pull, oh, there we go. These final cards. Ooh, is this three cards? Um, First chakra, Archangel Michael in reverse, all tied up in reverse, and Door to Value in reverse. I feel like with all of these in reverse, it's giving me a past energy. This is the energy of things that have already been done. Archangel Michael has already come in with his sword to cut you loose with all tied up in reverse. And now you're free to begin to experience and experience and expound upon what it is that you're actually worth. The Archangel Michael speaks to first chakra as the root chakra, which also speaks to our sense of innocence. And it's like someone is regaining their sense of innocence in some ways, and that's what has freed you from being all tied up. And again, at the bottom of the deck over here was judgment. And I feel like that judgment speaks to a window of time where things are able, well, those cards just came out. What's this? The Six of Cups in reverse, the Princess of Cups in reverse, and the Nine of Cups all came out in reverse. I guess this is telling me that someone is still in the process of doing whatever this is. Lots of pink here. I mean, it is all cups, so it makes sense. Um, I mean, I would say it's time to just go for it. Maybe that's because of that's how I learned, and I can overthink things a lot. And it doesn't matter what it is, I can think myself out of doing nearly anything, no matter how much I know, especially in the past. No matter how much I know it'll benefit me, or how much I know it's for my greater good, or how much I know it's actually for me, I would be able to think myself out of it. And sometimes the only way I could get to the places that I needed to get to was to just go for it and to stop thinking about it. Because if I kept thinking about it, I would continue to think myself out of it. And when you know that something is for you, when something is for you, it's almost like you can show up as you are, and then you grow while you're in that space. And I feel like I've heard something like that recently. No, maybe I've said it. I was talking to somebody and I was like, knowing and understanding are overrated, trusting is where it's at. And there were so many ways. I feel like one of the lessons that I've learned in the past few months of my life was how to be more in the moment and not necessarily spontaneous. Like I can be spontaneous, but I'm not necessarily too crazy all the time. Um, but it's not. It's about being in the moment and not being in your head so much. And in the moment, if your heart is open and if you're connected to the people that you're engaging with, and connected to yourself, and connected to your whole crew of everything simultaneously, it's like you don't necessarily have to worry about doing or saying or being the right thing. Let's see. What cards are these? Eight of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands in reverse. Bottom of the deck, the Queen of Cups in reverse. Eight of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands in reverse. I feel like this speaks to the energy of like realizing and recognizing that if you're in a space of being defensive, realizing and recognizing that you've been in that space for a long time because there was a period of time in which it served you. But as you're coming into these new cycles, you're gonna have to be just as dedicated as you were to this. And maybe it's about also realizing that that moment and that space that you were in was to teach you certain things, but it's time to shift the direction in which you're moving. And to do that, it's going to, again, require new dedication. Like, you're not just going to be there. There's never going to be a time where you're just there. Like, it's like, you don't get acclimated or acclimatized to the water by sitting outside of the pool. The only way for your body to adjust to the temperature of the water is for you to be in the water, right? It's not like you can mentally like think of the coldest you've ever been and then you get into the water and you're fine. It's like, no, that's not how it works. And it's like once you dive in, you'll be guided. And I don't know. It all speaks to trust. But at the same time, don't let me or anybody else really rush you into doing whatever it is that you ultimately know that you need to be doing and the time that you should be doing it. Bottom of the deck over here is Blossoming Abundance in reverse. Blossoming Abundance is in reverse with, again, Archangel Michael, first chakra, all tied up, and Door to Value in reverse. And I'm not gonna, like read that to death, but yeah, that's what I got. I'm gonna work on recording Scorpio and Libra today. I'm excited to be getting more of these done and out of the way. This is important to me that I finish this. I am highlighting things to myself. I start a lot of things that I don't too much finish. And it's time for me to no longer do that. What door is this? That Door to Value? Oh, it's up right now. Haha. The Door to Value is upright, but Archangel Michael and the first and all tied up are still in reverse. Blossoming Abundance is up right now as well. And again, that's because all of that stuff already happened, and it's time for you to begin to act like it already happened. It's time to stop pretending like you're stuck. Stop pretending like you don't know what to do. Stop pretending like you don't want whatever it is you want. And it's time to go for it. Like, you only live once, and life is so short. And the longer you wait to move on the things that are already available for you to move, it's like you already purchased the house. Like, you already have the keys. You've been cleared to move in, and you're not moving in. And so it's like the longer you don't move in is the longer you're going to be in a situation that you don't want to be in, when you can already be in a situation that you do want to be in. And maybe some of it is a little bit self-inflicted. Maybe with that Judgment card, that's more about self-judgment. Maybe that's someone thinking that they don't deserve something, and because they think they don't deserve it, they won't take it. But if you didn't deserve it, it wouldn't be given to you. It's kind of sort of that simple, honestly. All right, well, I'm gonna go now. I ain't seen this much of my scalp in a minute. Hopefully it ain't too like dry and stuff. Ooh, these braids are tight. And they ain't that thick either. I think I'm gonna like this. It makes my forehead look bigger. But I'm still like, I'm liking it. I need hats. Like a trilby. Or like a fedora or something. I wanna like it starts with a B, beret, like a beret. If I had a beret and these glasses, I would look artistic AF. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go now. I hope y'all have a good whatever, whenever you see this. I hope you have the time that you want to have. when you see this. And I hope that you are acting in alignment with that time that you want to have. Because with the new moon in Gemini, with the South Node in Gemini, it's all about action. Like Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the card of the magician, and the magician is about action. The North Node is in Gemini, which means the North Node, and Mercury is in Gemini right now too, right? North Node is telling us to be magicians and to make stuff happen. Just wishing upon stars isn't going to do anything anymore. It's time to begin to act, and it's time to begin to move, and it's time to start making stuff happen. So take it as you will, and I will see you next time I see you. If you are a Scorpio or a Libra, I will see you tonight if you so choose to watch. Or you could watch without being a Scorpio or a Libra, because we all got it somewhere in our chart, right? Right? Or at least that's what they say.